I am live. It's amazing. It's 2:29 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Welcome. I am the Crypto Crow. And where should I put this? I should stick it right there in front of my face. No, I want to block my salt and pepperness. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. What is today? It's only Tuesday. It's only Tuesday. Let's go. We're going, man. First thing I want to point out is I am definitely going to Crypto Connect, an NFT expo in Palm Beach, Florida, baby. I'm actually super jacked about this because, you know, I pulled out of Rare Bloom and I told my wife, I'm like, because we were looking forward to that trip, and I said, just book us stuff to do. I was like, I'm tired of sitting around working all day every day. I said, book us some stuff to do. Well, she booked us a couple little weekenders at different parts of Florida, and I thought, awesome. And she had already booked us a trip to West Palm Beach for a weekend, and I'm thinking, all right, that's cool. Let's go check out Florida. See what this state has. Other than big F-250 trucks and Trump flags, let's kind of dive in a little bit and see what else there is. So that's what she did. And then a friend of ours, Cassandra, who I've interviewed, she's like my first face-to-face interview. If you see this, if you look back a little bit, it was definitely a tech test because it was figuring out a lot of new equipment, a lot of new stuff, but it was cool. It was a fun time. She was cool. But she had messaged me on Instagram and she's like, hey, are you going to this thing? And I'm like, I just heard about it. Thanks. I don't know anything about it. And I reached out and I talked to the founder of the whole thing. And he's already sent me a couple whale passes, and he's got me he wants me to speak on a panel. And, you know, just like whatever I can do, he's going to pipe us into all the different bars and the restaurants and the clubs and everything going on. He's going to get us to all these different parties and events and things. And yeah, I mean, it's like blowing my mind. Like it's like such a different thing that I've been used to lately. So yeah, it's actually really exciting. And there's a lot of stuff going on. The number of speakers is insane. And basically the idea of Crypto Connect is it's not just, so it is about crypto, but it's about basically bringing crypto to more traditional traders, businessmen, entrepreneurs, you know, people from Delray, West Palm Beach, a lot of these people who, I mean, like this list is endless, just so you know. Yeah, I mean, it's just bringing so many different industries together under crypto and educating everybody on crypto, what's happened, what's happening, what's going to happen, and all this fun stuff. And just, I don't know, man. I mean, apparently this guy, Scott, has been doing these for like 15 years. He's been doing events and things for over 15 years. And these are fire, man. I mean, you know, like this is going to be, there are going to be thousands of people at this event. And there's already a couple thousand tickets sold to this event. And I'm just super looking forward to this. So if you don't have anything going on the weekend of, which is, we're going to be out there, I think from the 18th to the 21st, I think. But the actual event is the 20th and 21st. And so you can register, you can get your tickets 10 days, man, 10 days out. And I'm very much looking forward to this. Not only that, but I told Scott, I'm like, man, I want to get involved in this, like from now on. Like I want to get into this and help and be a part of this thing early. You know, I'm coming into this so late with only 10 days left. There's not much I can do. I'm like, hey man, I'm down to like sponsor for the Murder of Crows NFT collection and kind of explain what I'm doing with that and why, you know, all of that kind of stuff. And he's totally for it, but it's just like, you know, it's so close to the event. But with this being only a couple hours basically from where I live, this is going to be my new baby moving forward. And quite honestly, I'm gonna sit down with Scott and say, hey, how about a Cardano event? How about that? Let's do it right. Let's do this thing. Let's see what we can do together to create a Cardano focused event in Florida. And so we'll see. You know, I haven't even brought that up to him yet, but he might see this. And so, Scott, you know, this is going to be a topic of conversation when we meet probably Thursday. So, yeah, on that note, check it out if you're interested. I'm definitely going to be there. I'm going to be all over the place. I can't wait to see the booths, to see all the NFT projects. I'm thinking I might even have some business cards made just to hand out to people. So, yeah. Quick update on Murder of Crows. We broke like 3,200 sold through so far out of the 10,000, and I am cranking away on the Twisted Times airdrop. So, you know, if you're not familiar with what's going on, basically wallets that hold, or the wallets that have minted MOC NFTs are basically going to get an airdrop with some of these Twisted Times, and there's the treasure hunt involved, and it's going to be sick. And I will say that I'm on the last one right now. I'm working on the codes and ciphers and puzzles and things for the last card. Basically, they're all going to be relatively easy until the last one. And I will tell you this. The first one you're going to want to solve is actually Andy, because the actual NFT is going to have the first major thing you're going to need to know to basically get throughout the rest of them. And then the last one is going to be Unity. This is going to be the big one. And it's going to be the big one because it's named Unity, and it's basically this whole NFT symbolizes the idea that, you know, if we can conquer this division in society as a whole, we can accomplish absolutely anything. It is all about strength in numbers. And so many people, in my opinion, are being well, let's just say that the division is real and it's deeper than it's ever been. And we need to figure out a way to do something about that. And as such, to symbolize a lot of this, you know, my goal is to bring as many people together to solve this final NFT. And it is going to take a village. I will tell you that, because I am structuring this. I am researching this. All of them up to this point is going to be relatively easy. But when you get to Unity, you're going to need to unify to conclude this. And that's all I'm going to say about that. So moving forward from here, so here's the thing. Before I dive into this, you know, I've talked about in previous videos, you know, basically we're obviously in a bear market, right? Everybody knows that. Everybody talks about it. Bear market this, and everybody's waiting for this big turnaround. I really don't think we're going to see a big significant turnaround just yet. I think we've got a long way to go. And I think in that process, given where we're at in the world, I mean, anything could pop off at any moment that's going to send this market even deeper into the crapper. Okay. If, you know, I mean, basically, if any of these wars start getting worse, I think there's a lot to be said about where we're heading in terms of, you know, the economy and all of that. I think everybody's kind of waiting to figure out what's going on, right? And we have some pretty substantial milestones coming to the Ethereum blockchain in September. We've got some pretty substantial milestones coming to the Cardano blockchain with Vassal and then Hydra. And like, I know that's been delayed a couple times, and that's completely fine by me. There's no real rush, right? However, the bear market, as I always say, is the time to build. The bear market is the time to research, to understand, to be able to look into new projects and start making educated guesses as to what direction some of these projects are going to go throughout the remainder of the bear market and into the next bull run. What has done what in the past? What have they accomplished? What are they doing now when there are less eyeballs, there's less use, there's less of just about everything, less transactional data? How do you kind of look at these things and distinguish what may be more valuable than the rest, right? And which ones are going to ultimately grow? Now, this is probably going to be a multi-part type thing because we don't have enough time to go into every little nuance of this. But the point of this video is, you know, it's labeled top 5 Internet of Things coins for like 200x gains, right? And the fact of the matter is that is absolutely possible between now and the next peak of the next bull market. How we go about finding those is going to be what we're going to be going into a little bit today, and I'm hoping that it kind of helps. And I'm going to be doing some of this right here. Like, I don't have a number 1. This number 2, that's not what this video is. I want you to learn some things. I want you to at least better understand the way I look at a lot of these projects, because I found that, well, at least in my opinion, if I'm watching information by somebody and they're just saying, well, number one is this because of XYZ, and number two is that XYZ, I want to learn your thought process. I want to learn how you got there. I don't want to necessarily just be told, this is going to be really good because they're going to establish dog tags for animals across the country, and this is a great use case. I don't really give a shit about that, because that's ultimately just marketing, right? I could come out with anything and say, well, my goal is to make my crypto chip in every pair of tennis shoes in the whole world to make sure they're not copied or duplicated or whatever. So it's that's not what this video is about. So as we move into this, I see Natasha's in the chat. I haven't seen Natasha in so long. She says she's back, but I know she's going to be gone again in probably 24 hours. And we're not going to hear anything from Natasha for another year. It's weird because my video is acting choppy. How is my video and audio on your guys' end? Does it look okay? Because I'm kind of doing things a little differently, hoping I get a little bit better of a, I don't know. I wonder if it has anything to do with it. Let me close that. Maybe there's some stuff that I've got going on the desktop. I almost see like a little audio delay in my speech as well. This is really weird. I'm not used to seeing that going on here. Okay, so anyway, hi Crow from Romania. What's going on? All good here on the tube. All right, that's cool. All good. All right, well, good. We'll push forward then. So here we go. So we're going to dive into this. This is Masari.io. Natasha had some difficulties, but I'm here, more educated. All right, well, that's good. How do I connect my Yoroi wallet to Murder of Crows? It says, wait, I wouldn't use the Yoroi wallet. For whatever reason, it seems that a lot of people have struggled using Yoroi. I would use NAMI or Eternal, or even, I think you can even use Daedalus. But I have a link directly at murderofcrows.io so that you can just click it, download NAMI wallet. That's the one that it seems everybody's using and having. I did it. I bought a 10-pack. On NAMI, it was seconds. It was super easy. So that's what I would suggest. Anything outside of that, I really just don't know. All right. So what we're seeing here is we're seeing a graph of Internet of Things protocols, basically on various blockchains. And this is on Masari.io. Okay. And now there are a couple key things that I'm initially looking at when it comes to researching or investigating a crypto project. All right. One of those things is market cap. Okay. The higher the market cap, the more likely it is that there's a large number of investors that are interested in this project for whatever reason. Okay. And generally, when a project has a larger market capitalization, given where they are at, if that market capitalization is, way down from where it once was, well, then you kind of have to ask why. Is it because of the general market coming down overall, or is it because something really bad happened and it drove a bunch of people out? I've already removed some of the projects that were in this list because I knew this project had a lot of problems, this project had a lot of problems, and their market caps plummeted, and a lot of people just left the scene, okay? And there may be some others in here. But that's really not what this is about. This is just one element that I look at. So if we're looking here, VeChain has the largest market cap at 2.18 billion. Helium is over $1 billion market cap. Iota, which has been around quite a while, at 907 million. IOTX at 362 million. And then Digibyte all the way down to 208 million. And then from there, it drops under, three figures, basically. 77 million, 23 million at Walton Chain, which Walton Chain used to be a big buzzword in crypto. And it is up 160% since its low. All right. Iota is up 284% since its low. QLC up 213% since its low. So there's momentum being built right now in some of these projects. We look at VeChain's only up 49% since its low. Okay, that's cool, but its all-time high was 26 cents. Whereas you look at something like Helium with an all-time high of $54, it's trading at $8.40. I think it was like $9 yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. Iota, 32 cents, original all-time high or most recent all-time high of 575 with a 21.2 break-even multiple. So basically, this is saying that this could, if it were to go back to its original all-time high of 575, you're looking at this would basically multiply 21 times. Okay. And so, a lot of people might say, well, but Crow, there are other projects that are going to come out to make a lot of these obsolete, right? That's entirely possible. And that's a part of the puzzle you have to figure out. But Iota, which I used to really like, they kind of dropped off of the radar for me years ago, quite frankly, but they're up almost 284% since its low. Its cycle low was 8 cents. It's currently trading at 32. It's doing well. It's making some bit of a comeback. Now, the other thing that I'm looking at is volume, because it doesn't matter what the value of a particular token is. If you can't get in and out of it easily, you're likely going to lose money while you're either buying it or selling it through slippage. So I want to make sure that whatever I'm getting into, I can get out of relatively quickly, or there's no point in buying it. You could see a token, it might say, oh, this token's worth $300. But if you can't exit the number of tokens you have at $300, well, then it's not really worth $300. If the slippage is going to push that $300 token down to $150 because there's just no volume and there's not enough people willing to buy it or sell it, that means I'm going to pay more by the time I've concluded. Let's say I've got 10 grand. I'm like, I want to buy 10 grand of this, but maybe there's only $1,000 worth at a certain price point, right? And because the volume is so low, from there, it's just going to go up faster and faster and faster. So rather than basically having an average price of $300, my average price might end up being $450 by the time I've spent my entire 10 grand. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's what slippage is, because there's only so much available in an order book, and the lower the volume of trades in a 24-hour period, the more slippage there is in that order book to the upside or the downside. And so volume is a very big deal to me. So $11.5 million or $11.25 million in 24-hour volume, that's pretty good. That tells me that if the price is currently trading at 0.029 cents, or let's just call it 3 cents, I'm likely going to be able to get in and out of a position of, let's say I had $50,000 worth. I could probably get in or out of that relatively easily with $11.25 million a day on daily trade volume. Okay. Volume is very, very key when you're talking about trading, because if you don't have volume, the price doesn't really mean squat. Okay. So that's what you need to keep in mind. And that's what causes prices to fluctuate. The higher the volume, the more stable the price of a token can actually end up being, because you're not suffering slippage to the up or downside. I have had positions in the past where it has taken me weeks to get in or out of a position at the price point I wanted, and it can really drag things out. So, but for right now, everything I'm seeing, VeChain up 48% since its low. Its cycle low is 2 cents. It's only 3 cents now. It's not up that high, but the potential is there. With an original all-time high of 26 cents, this could be pretty strong. And I know that VeChain has been heavily marketing, even in the bear market. They're a new partner for the UFC and things like that. So I actually am going to keep VeChain on my list here. All right. Walton Chain, on the other hand, I'm not too sure. I'm not super confident. I don't know about what exactly is going on with Walton Chain. But let's say I'm looking at this and I want to say, okay, so I like the numbers on paper so far. What exactly is VeChain? what is the bigger story about VeChain? We can see that the markets here, there's 2 pages of markets where VeChain is traded. You can see all of the different trading pairs, so you'll know what you're getting in and out of. Its sector type is a smart contract platform with a native token usage of payments, proof of authority, consensus algorithm. All of that data is right here on Messari. And this stuff can really help you, getting a better grasp as to what's going on. And then right here, you've got research. So as new articles are launched related to that cryptocurrency, you can kind of get a gauge as to what the latest and greatest news is, with the most recent on here, April 16th. Not a whole heck of a lot, right? Not a whole heck of a lot in recent news. So that to me is not necessarily a good thing. But we do know, if you're watching the UFC at all, that they're doing marketing right now. They're actively spending money for marketing in a bear market. That to me is a good sign that these guys plan to stick around for the next bull cycle, right? So to me, that makes it appear at least as a much safer bet. Now, I was bullish on VeChain a while back, and I'm not bearish on it now, but the whole thing between VeChain token and VTHO, to me, I found confusing for a casual end user. And I thought that wouldn't bode very well with a lot of people. And on top of that, I found the wallet and everything a little confusing. And I was just kind of like, I'm not sure where this is going to go. The use case needs to be more or user intuitiveness, the ability to take advantage of the blockchain and utilize it for different things needs to be a little bit more clear and a little bit easier for mass adoption. So I was kind of like, I'm on the fence about this. And I still kind of am, though. I haven't done a deep dive into any of these yet in quite a while. This video is just to basically lay out for you, this is what my thought process is. And this is how I distinguish the projects that I want to do deeper dives into. Okay. I'm not going to establish buy or sell authority based off of these numbers alone. I'm going to go deeper into that project. Now, the one project that I am genuinely interested in right now is Helium. I want to better understand Helium. Why? Because you can buy the Helium miners for like $400, the little Bobcat miners for like $400 on Amazon right now. And when I was looking at these things and I was thinking, okay, are these miners actually a good thing? Okay. Like using crypto to build real world infrastructure. That's ultimately what Helium is trying to accomplish. The question is, are these little mining hubs, these little hub point miners, basically, they're building a framework for an internet network, an Internet of Things web, right? A network using these hotspots, these hot points. And basically by using one of these and setting one of these up, you're effectively mining, you're supporting the web or the blockchain by quote unquote mining this, but ultimately you're acting as a hotspot to expand this network. But with 5G in play and the launch of 5G, I still don't yet know, like how this all works. Are these miners worth getting? Let me know in the comments below if you'd like me to do a deep dive on this project, because I'm interested, but I'm not pushed over the edge yet. And I'm happy to do a deep dive in Helium if the demand is there, if you guys are genuinely interested. In order to do that, just let me know in the comments below and drop a like. Let me know what you think. Do you want me to do a deep dive into this? An old school deep dive, okay? Because I kind of miss doing these, and I think now is about the time. I do think we're due for another leg down in the crypto market, but I do think that now is the time. Iota. Now, this was a really confusing project for me as well back in the day because of the nature of the blockchain itself and the way it was being utilized. I'm pretty sure the wallet strings, the wallet address strings were like astronomically long, if I'm remembering this correctly. There were issues that I had with IoT or Iota back in the day. But the summary is Iota is a transaction settlement and data transfer layer for the Internet of Things. Its distributed ledger, the Tangle, is based on a data structure referred to as the directed acyclic graph, DAG. In the Tangle, there are no blocks or miners, and every transaction on the Iota network must validate 2 previous transactions through a small proof of work. Thus, the more transactions occur, the faster the network can process new transactions, theoretically allowing the network to be more efficient as it scales. So, this kind of technology to me screams a powerful force in the IoT space, because it's basically saying that the more active the blockchain is, or the distributed ledger, the more active that is, the faster and the more throughput it can handle, right? So I'm not deep enough into the technology of this to fully understand it or explain it yet. I haven't done a deep dive in this in a long time. I'm not 100% sure I ever did, honestly. And it's been years now. I mean, I've been at this since 2017. So I've been researching so many things. A lot of things kind of run together like my days of the week. Okay. So this is another project that I actually like, as well as Helium, as well as VeChain. IOTX. Let's take a quick look at this just to learn a little bit more about it. Now, as I'm looking at some of this, again, this is just me going through my process as I'm looking for things that could potentially generate a high yield for me in the bull market. But also, a lot of that is going to be based on use case, the technology. What is this exactly going to be prime for? What kind of use case is this going to be really good for? And then from there, it's a matter of who's behind it, who's on the team, especially now when you're looking at a lot of these projects that were established in, like the Genesis block date for this is 2019. Let's see, all-time high date. So this hasn't had its all-time high since December 19th of 2017. So in this last bull cycle, it never got back to its original all-time high, which basically, in effect, can potentially cancel out its whole, that's break-even average, right? It's break-even. So 21.2 break-even. Helium 5.9. When did Helium Okay, 2021. So November 12th of 2021 was its all-time high date. So that's cool. It could have another cycle in it. It could have more cycles. The idea, though, is some of these projects, okay, and this is another note I want to make directly to everybody real quick. Some of these projects, Helium is a prime example, because I was watching this other guy the other day. I need to give him some credit because he opened my eyes to some things, and he only had 9 views on the video when I watched it. I think he had maybe 500 subscribers to his channel. So I'm basically like, he actually helped me in some of my thought process in this, and kind of reminded me in a sense that, this is not all. I'm gonna need to find that video and give that guy some credit. But basically, he was talking about how Helium got something like $650 million in venture capital or crowdfunding capital or ICO money. I don't even remember how they got it, but that they're only generating about $6,000 a month in profit right now. I touched on this briefly yesterday. Excuse me one second. I touched on this briefly yesterday, that look at Amazon. If you look at how many years Amazon was just gorging money, I mean, it was losing tons and tons and tons of cash. It was building an infrastructure. It was building a new way of doing things. It was building a new business model that a lot of people just weren't familiar with. I mean, it basically got its start by offering affiliate programs to sell books, right? And then that market continued to grow and grow and grow. And now they sell pretty much everything and anything you can imagine, right? And they have hubs all over the world that these products are sitting at, waiting to be purchased for fast 2-day delivery or faster. And so it took some time to build that business and to grow its adoption. But once it did, then it became an exponential growth that is taking over everything. And because of Amazon, it's ultimately disrupted a lot of the brick and mortar mom and pop shops across the world in a much bigger way, I believe, than Walmart even has, right? So if we look at a new technology such as something like a Helium, there's a lot to be said about the fact that, yeah, maybe with that kind of money, they're only seeing $6,000, but how much of that money was put into the framework? How much money was put into the technology, the manufacturing of these mining hub spots, and so forth and so on? And over time, as IoT continues to grow and technologies like this are more and more adopted, especially as we get closer to 2030, which I think is going to be a pinnacle year because every forecast for the way the world is changing is basically put its mind and set that date of 2030, right? So some of these projects may not even start to boom by the 2025, 2026 peak, but by 2030, how long do you want to hold on to some of these assets? If you were to get into some of these assets today at $8.42 or 32 cents or 4 cents, if you were to throw a little pocket change into some of these projects, and over the next 8 years, they grew massively into $5, $17, $118, right? Like whatever. I'm just throwing out random numbers based on where they're at now. But if it generates that kind of yield, is it worth it? I think it very well could be. So ultimately, right now, if I were to look at these top 5, I'm going to say that the top 5 projects, just based on these numbers, it's not even going to be Digibyte necessarily. Even though Digibyte's numbers don't look too bad, up almost 64% since its low. Let's take a quick look at when its all-time high was. Was it before or after this last market? April 30th of 2021. So it got a pump peak in April, which was basically the peak of this last market. So Digibyte is still in play to me. Some of these other projects that didn't peak out at an all-time high in 2021 may be dead projects treading water, or they may be taking their time building things in the background, which then goes and puts me into what is their GitHub data look like? What does that kind of stuff look like? Well, unfortunately, for whatever reason, Masari doesn't have a lot of that information here. Stars, watchers, Reddit active, and it looks like they took some of the GitHub data out of the equations on this website, from what I can see. Because if I scroll down and I look at you can't even, let me show you here. If I scroll down into my data here, ROI, all-time high, you can basically select what kind of data you want: categories, tags, token type, token usage, just about anything. But if I get all the way down, so you got mining, you got funding and distribution, you have on-chain data, which obviously is a pretty big deal depending on what the use case is overall. Volatility, Sharp, and then right here you've got GitHub data. It used to have GitHub additions in like code drops and things. All that's gone for whatever reason. Now it's down to just stars and watchers, which really sucks, because that data really helped me distinguish which projects were actively being further developed. How many GitHub commits in the last 7 hours, the last 7 days, the last 30 days? That was pretty valuable information. I'm shocked to find that that's gone, because that can really help you say, okay, well, this project that peaked out in 2018 or 2019 or whatever hasn't had many GitHub commits since then, hasn't done a whole heck of a lot. It's probably a dead project. And even though the numbers may look good at face value, when you look behind the veil, there's probably not that much there. So, but for right now, VeChain is one of my top picks. Helium, Iota could potentially be. Walton Chain, I want to maybe look at it in the near future, and then some of these others. But ultimately, this is what I'm looking at when I'm first considering diving into a project and trying to better understand, how do I establish a top 5 list? And, in some cases, when I'm looking at investing in anything, I may look at it, look at some of these things, and maybe there's 2 projects that have the same use case and they're fighting for the same market. And I might go into both of them, because if one of them wins and the other doesn't, it's very likely that the one that wins is going to far outweigh any losses I might have with the one that doesn't. So that is that, and hopefully that's helpful. So let me take a quick look at chat, and then we'll see about going about our business. Can I send my Crow NFTs to my data list? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Natasha, I did Grateful Head. I had health issues and housing issues, but I'm back. Well, that's good. I'm glad to see you back in action. Natasha, I've been with Crow since 2017. Oh, I see. Grateful Head. I thought there was a language barrier issue there, and I just didn't want to make a joke about it. Good. I'm glad we got that sorted. And thank you for being a part of everything since 2017, Grateful Head. Same, and a divorce. Life is good. We're getting into. I'm maybe I need to start doing some relationship and life advice columns or something like that on the channel. Maybe I'll start another one. We'll name it Crow's Feelings or something like that. And we'll get into the detail of like life and love and relationships. I'm pretty sure helium is involved with 5G. Don't quote me on that. I think they are too, because I've been reading some things which actually pointed me in